Okay, so you need to make an explainer video. You've got a great story to tell, but you're probably wondering, how exactly do you show it? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to take a tour of 14 totally different video styles to help you find that perfect match for your message.
I mean, the options can feel pretty overwhelming, right? You've got everything from simple cartoons to these mind blowing 3D worlds. But don't you worry, we're going to break it all down for you. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to pick a style that fits your message, your brand, and importantly, your budget. Let's dive in. So here's the game plan. First, we'll meet the animation all-stars. These are the digital workhorses you see everywhere. Then we're going to add a whole new dimension, literally, and explore styles that have more depth. After that, we'll step into the real world with some amazing handcrafted techniques, check out a few specialized tools, and finally, we'll pull it all together so you can find your perfect fit. All right, let's kick things off with the styles you probably see all the time. These are the heavy hitters of the explainer video world, and honestly, for a very good reason. They're incredibly versatile, super effective, and they tend to be pretty friendly on the wallet. First up is good old 2D animation. This one is all about pure storytelling. It uses characters that we can all relate to, and it builds this kind of emotional bridge with the audience that makes even really complicated ideas feel personal and way easier to understand. That human connection, that's why it's a go-to for so many businesses. Next, we have motion graphics. The best way to think about this is literally graphic design that moves. So where 2D animation uses characters to tell a story, motion graphics uses moving text, slick shapes, and cool transitions to explain a concept. It's super clean, modern, and just perfect for making abstract data look absolutely beautiful. And rounding out our all-stars is whiteboard animation. You know, there's a reason this style is so powerful. It feels like you're watching a professor at a whiteboard, sketching out an idea step by step. That process really focuses your attention and makes even the most tangled up topics feel simple and totally digestible. Okay, so we've been hanging out in the flat 2D world. Now let's add another dimension. We're about to jump into styles that bring in perspective, depth, and a whole lot of realism, literally taking our visuals right off the page. Understanding this progression is super helpful. So you've got flat 2D on one side and this totally immersive 3D world on the other. But what's this thing in the middle, 2.5D? Think of it like a digital pop-up book. It cleverly uses objects that look 3D inside a 2D scene to create this awesome illusion of depth. It gives you that cool 3D pop without the full 3D price tag. Now, a really popular way to create that illusion of depth is with the isometric style. Even though it's all drawn in 2D, everything is angled just right to make it look like you're viewing a 3D space from above. This perspective is absolutely perfect for deconstructing an object and showing how all the internal parts work together. And that brings us to the big one, full 3D animation. Now, the power here is just undeniable. You get these hyper-realistic visuals, objects you can spin around and move, just like in real life. But that realism comes with a pretty major trade-off. It is incredibly expensive and super time-consuming. We're talking production times that can stretch for months. Okay, let's step away from the computer screen for a bit. Now we're talking about styles that are actually made by hand with real-world objects, and let me tell you, a whole lot of patience. This is where animation gets physical. Stop motion is a classic for a reason. The process itself is so beautifully simple. You move a real object just a tiny bit, take a picture. Move it again, take another picture. And when you string hundreds of those photos together, the object just magically comes to life. The only downside, of course, is the absolutely staggering amount of time it all takes. So just how much time are we talking about? Get this. To create a single second of smooth video, you need to shoot and perfectly align between 8 and 12 separate photos. It is a true labor of love. And probably the most famous type of stop motion is claymation. In this style, everything you see on screen is sculpted by hand from clay. It uses that same painstaking frame-by-frame process, which means, you guessed it, it also comes with a pretty significant investment of both time and money. Of course, the most direct way to capture the real world is with live action. I mean, using real people in real places is just unbeatable for building an emotional connection and really humanizing your brand. But that authenticity comes with some very real-world costs. You've got actors, camera crews, locations. It all adds up, and it adds up fast.
All right, for our final category, let's look at a creative toolbox full of specialized tools for very specific jobs and some really cool hybrid styles that mix and match different forms to create something brand new. Let's start with two highly specialized tools. First, kinetic typography, which is basically just moving text. It sounds simple, but it's fantastic for making data and key messages really pop off the screen. Then you have the screencast, which is just a recording of a computer screen. It's the undisputed king of software tutorials and product demos.
And this is where things get really fun. You can literally bring a comic book to life, or mix real photos with animated drawings for a cool collage look. Or you can go for a full mixed media approach. This means combining any style we've talked about. Live action with 2D, whiteboard with 3D. There are absolutely no rules here. The sky's the limit.
Whew. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here. So how do you actually put all this information to use? Let's boil it all down into one simple final framework.
This chart really breaks it all down for you. Just start with your goal. If you're looking for clear, affordable storytelling, you'll want to look at the Animation All-Stars. Need to show off a physical product? The Depth and Dimension family is your best bet, but you'll have to balance that budget against how realistic you want it to look. If you want to create a powerful emotional connection through pure artistry, the handcrafted styles are perfect, if you've got the time and money. And for everything else, the specialized and hybrid tools are there to solve a very specific problem.
And honestly, this is the most important thing to remember. There is no single best style. There's just not. Each one is a different tool in the toolbox. The real secret is choosing the right tool for the job, the one that best matches your brand's unique voice and what you're trying to accomplish.
So, we've laid out the map, we've given you the tools, and now comes the most exciting part, deciding which path you're going to take. So, which of these styles will you choose to tell your story? Thanks so much for tuning in.